Recap of today's price action. Coming into the day, I had a very similar bias as to yesterday, as I was high time frame bullish but short term bearish, as I wanted to see all of these stacked lows get swept inside of this 4-hour unmitigated bullish or value gap to continue the overall trend of being bullish. So coming into the day, what I was looking for was manipulation higher at open to look for a short position to target this unmitigated 4-hour bullish or value gap. Now, right at market open, we immediately displace higher sweeping data highs inside of a 1-hour bearish or value gap with a bearish SMT. You can then see that we end up getting a retrace into this 15-minute bullish or value gap where we barely ended up edging a discount of this range. And then you can see that we end up getting a 1-minute inversion. Overall, if you had a bullish bias here and you liked the DOLs above, such as this buy-side liquidity that we barely edged previously, then I think this was a very good position. Personally, as I said earlier, I just had a very bearish bias and I was very married to my draw on liquidity lower. Therefore, I figured if this was going to play out, what was going to happen was this is really just going to be manipulation higher to then catch a short position lower. And as you can see, this setup does end up playing out to full take profit. Honestly, I think this might have been a break-even trade for me. I can't say for sure, but we did have this 4-minute unmitigated bearish gap above. I'm not 100% sure if I would have gone break-even there, but if you did or you didn't and you took this trade and had conviction and prices higher, very good job. I think it was overall a very good trade. But now at this point in time, I am looking for a short position to target my draw on liquidity below. Now when 10 a.m. comes around, you can see that we do end up disrespecting this 1-hour bearish gap, but ES was still respecting this gap, and we ended up just creating another bearish SMT as well. So ES looked overall just extremely weak, and you can see that we are clearly failing to displace higher. So this is why I was also just justified in looking for a short after inversing a 1-hour bearish gap. You can see that we end up creating this 5-minute bullish gap. So if this gets disrespected, that's going to be my confirmation to see prices lower. Now, as you can see, we do end up getting that 5-minute inversion, but you can see that it closed very close to our break-even point. So I would have to go break-even almost immediately. So what I was looking for at this point in time was a continuation short to target all of my draws on liquidity below. So now you can see that we do end up creating a 5-minute bearish gap. And if we go down to a lower time frame, you can see that we end up getting a beautiful 1-minute inversion out of this 5-minute gap. So right when we got this close here, I ended up taking a position short with my stop loss at the swing high. And I was just aiming for these relative equal lows down here, or I was going to get out once ES creates a bullish SMT with my take profit. And now as you can see, I went break even at the internal low, and then I got stopped at break even, which ended up saving me from a unnecessary loss here. I think my break even point here is completely valid. If price is truly going to be bearish and flush through all of these DOLs, then there should be no reason for price to come back up to my break-even point prior to going lower. And then 11 a.m. comes around, I took my trade, got stopped at break even, unfortunate lack of delivery, so I logged out of my funded accounts. Actually did end up getting a beautiful position short after, where we end up retracing into this 5-minute gap. So as I said, this was past my rules for my funded accounts, but I did have my evals left over as I slept through CPI. So I ended up taking this beautiful short here on my evals and got out here when we created a bullish SMT with my take profit. It's just evals. I don't think you guys really care, but just thought I'd point that out. This was a very nice setup. So I hope you guys learned